Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today. Sorry about the dodgy light. The light has been disappearing all day. First thing this morning, when dawn came up, it was striking the treetops of the Arboretum. It was lovely. It was bright and gold. And it dimmed all day long and is now gone completely. It has now disappeared completely. And there's a chance that we're not going to see sunlight again for a week. There's a chance that it's going to rain on and off and be impenetrably cloudy for a solid week. We will see. I think that there's a chance of that lightning. It'll be on Friday. That's a long time from now. But the rain has been holding off, so that's good. It hasn't been the kind of day that you would want to go on a dog walk with your little bean. She has not wanted to do that. It's been a kind of a gray, damp day. It hasn't been raining, but it isn't pleasant to walk around outside. So we haven't done much of that. So it's been mostly an indoor day of reading and whatnot. But mail did come, and it's a rare mail haul that has no packages. It's just boxes. And one periodical. I got the National Review, the new National Review, which has, first of all, kind of a neat cover. It's the Taj Mahal bracketed by shipping containers. But the National Review is a perfect example of the type of thing I talk about on this channel, the so-called back of the book, where you'll have a magazine and it will have a brief. In the National Review's case, of course, it's commentary on politics, on U.S. and world politics. But there'll always be in most cases, there'll be a dividing line, and there'll be a back of the book that has cultural commentary, book reviews, that sort of thing. And generally speaking, the house policy is that the back of the book is totally uninfluenced. Usually, the reviews don't have to echo the ideology that drives the front of the book. Which is why I can end up in the course of my life reading endless numbers of all kinds of periodicals that I don't agree with at all about anything. And this is another case of that. There's a huge book section at the back of every National Review. I haven't read this yet, but I thought there were a couple of books that... Andrew Lang reviews Our Ancient Faith by Alan Guelzo, which I have read and did not like. A book about Abraham Lincoln and the American Civil War, and I went into it worried that I wouldn't like it, and it was everything I thought it would be. I don't know if one of the benefits of reading a review like this is that maybe Andrew Lang will show me things that I didn't see. Could very well be. Then Amity Schlaze reviews, there's a new book about Henry Wallace. It's called The World That Wasn't. And it's about political and social racist resistance to equal rights in America. And I didn't like it either. I thought it was a little shallow and a lot posturing. But Amity Schlaze is a terrific writer. She's absolutely fantastic. She wrote a great American presidential biography, The Final Word, on her subject. So maybe she will show me something. I thought there was one other example of that. Oh no, the other example is something that I can almost guess that I'm going to hate. There's an essay in here by John Byron Cooner called The Enduring Appeal of J.R.R. Tolkien. Usually those essays are not good. I don't know what this one will be like. Since I've got you here, let's read how it begins and see if that gives us any hint. The year 2023 marked 50 years since the death of John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, and 2024 will mark 70 years since the publication of the first volume of The Lord of the Rings, which holds the title of the best-selling novel ever written. Fantasy and science fiction authors mostly come and go, but Tolkien has endured. Why is this so? What is different about him? Okay, always really bad news when someone spells out all of his name, the Ronald Reuel. When you get that, you're almost certainly dealing with a BroTube pedant. But also, 2024 will mark 70 years since the publication of the first volume of Lord of the Rings. This issue came to me today. It is March the 4th. I'm not saying that the reviewer should keep up to date on current events. You had to file the piece sometime. But wasn't this edited before it went to press? You can't change that? 2024 has already happened. 2024 has already begun. So that's all. It takes you right out of the piece. And also there's that howler. What on earth was it here? The Lord of the Rings, which holds the title of the best-selling novel ever written. I have never even heard of a Tolkien fan that believes that kind of junk. Okay, well, I don't know. That does not promise well. Shall we do another paragraph? For answers, we would do well to look at the recent work of Holly Ordway, whose 2023 biography, Tolkien's Faith, constitutes a significant breakthrough in Tolkien's scholarship. It most certainly did not. Oh my God. Is this all going to be like this? Tolkien has long been thought of as, quote, the father of fantasy, the arch dungeon master who standardized the now familiar world of elves and dwarves and wizards and dragons. Tolkien didn't mention there being a religion for his Middle-earth he created, and most of his fans saw little reason to look for one. Tolkien's reputation as a fantasy writer, as opposed to, say, a Christian writer, was destabilized by his close friendship with C.S. Lewis. Lewis's biggest fans tend to be religious Christians, and the scholars among them began drawing Tolkien more clearly into the world of Lewisian Christian apologetics. Okay. All right. It's about a work of fantasy, and it sounds like it's going to be a work of fantasy. None of those claims of the claims we meet in just the first 5 sentences are true. Okay, well, like I said, when I see something like that, any kind of dashed off common piece on Tolkien, I worry, because they're almost always bad. Almost always really, really bad. But anyway, that's just one periodical. Let's move on to the boxes. We have a little box and a big box. So let's see what the little box is. It's weird to think these may be the last pieces of mail I get here at Hyde Cottage for quite some time that are not wet when I arrive to them, because we might be in for a large amount of rain. Okay, this is a finished copy for early April from the folks at Princeton University Press. This is by Ismar Volich, and it is Making Democracy Count: How Mathematics Improves Voting, Electoral Maps, and Representation. Okay. What's the best way to determine what most voters want when multiple candidates are running? What's the fairest way to allocate legislative seats to different constituencies? What's the least distorted way to draw voting districts? Not the way we do things now. Democracy is mathematical to its very foundations, yet most of its methods in use are a historical grab bag of short-sighted, the cynical, the innumerate, and the outright discriminatory. This book sheds new light on our electoral systems, revealing how a deeper understanding of their mathematics is key to creating civic infrastructure that works for everyone. In his timely guide, the author empowers us to use mathematical thinking as an objective, nonpartisan framework that rises above the noise and rancor of today's divided public square. Examining our representative democracy using powerful clarifying concepts, the author shows why our current voting system stifles political diversity, why the size of the House of Representatives contributes to its paralysis, why gerrymandering is a sinister instrument that entrenches partisanship and disenfranchisement, why the Electoral College must be rethought, and what can work better and why. Okay. All right. Okay. It's not the size of the House of Representatives that stymies its effectiveness. It's a handful of Trump fanatics who are loyal to Trump and not to the nation, who will go in front of microphones on various alt-right venues and say they're loyal to Trump. Their loyalty is entirely to one balding, syphilitic Queens real estate con man, an adjudicated rapist, an adjudicated fraud, an adjudicated insurrectionist. They don't care. Their loyalty is to him, not to the country. And they're willing to say that. They're willing to say that openly, which means if any legislation comes to them that in any way Trump doesn't like, they're against it. If any legislation comes to them that in any way might be liked by anybody that Trump doesn't like, they're against it. Whether their constituents are against it or not. Get them out and the House of Representatives would work a lot better than it does without changing much more about it. But it doesn't matter anyway. I mean, I appreciate the author's optimism here, his techno-optimism, his numero optimism. But if you've got Trump cult members in face masks and red hats standing outside your polling place taking pictures of your license plate, maybe following you in a van with lots of flags and stickers on it all the way to your home, there's no law against them taking pictures like that, and there's no law against them following you, but you're not going to vote. If you know that's going to happen, you're not going to vote. And that has nothing to do with math, except for the most maddening math of all, which is that there are far more of us than there are of them. We don't seem to be acting that way. But I have a while to think about this. This is a finished copy for mid-April. That's a month away. So I have time to think about it. What do we know about the author? No picture. I tend to think that the author is very young. Is a professor of mathematics and director of the Institute for Mathematics and Democracy at Wellesley College. His work has appeared in publications such as The Hill, Cognoscente, and Education Week. No other books mentioned. Maybe this is his first book. Well, I will give it a try. I will read it in mid-March, I think, now that I have the finished copy. But that's very interesting. And then we have the big box, which is kind of weird. It's got a lid on it. It's not very heavy, so I think there's probably only one book in here. Not immediately obvious how to open this thing. If I can preserve it as a box, I'd kind of like to. You never know when a box will come in here. Oh, well, all right, I can't preserve it as a box. It's not coming quietly, so I have to just destroy it. That's too bad. Let's just tear it to pieces. No doubt in my mind that a manila envelope would have worked just fine. Whatever it is, a manila envelope would have worked just fine. But the die is cast now, so let's just see. Oh, is this? Oh my God! It's not one invoice; it's two invoices. So gross! Get those out of here! Get them away from me! Ew. So what have we got in here? It must be something big. If somebody wanted to put this in a box. Oh! I wonder if this is within reach. Oh, it is! Oh. All right, this is from the great folks at Mariner. Oh my, how wonderful! Oh, this is lovely. The great folks at Mariner are putting out a new edition of the USA Trilogy by John Dos Passos. 42nd Parallel, 1919, and The Big Money. In its great, big, new trade paperback. This will be coming out. I don't have any sheet for it. This is probably out already. And it will be $30, is that right? Yeah, $30 paperback. Oh, fantastic. All right. I'm going to try to write about this because I just got a copy of USA at the Brattle just the other day. This is 60 years before this one. This one is equally floppy, but it has the Reginald Marsh illustrations all throughout. It's liberally illustrated all throughout with Reginald Marsh illustrations. They're everywhere. You can barely turn a page without coming across them. And this Mariner edition does not have those. I'd be really interested to know why. Surely it is not that much more money to include them, and they're part of the book. They really should be included. Okay, so this has a blurb on the cover from Tim O'Brien. USA is a masterpiece of American letters. I totally agree. It's also the least known of the masterpieces of American letters. Nobody reads it. Let's see here. This new edition collects the 3 volumes of John Dos Passos' acclaimed USA Trilogy, named one of the best books of the 20th century by the Modern Library. That's it? That's all? What else is in here? What else are we getting with this? Okay, well, we get a Reginald Marsh illustration on the frontispiece, but it doesn't look like there are any others in here. No, it's just that one. It's just the author writing with his inkwell. We get anything else? Do we get... Okay, there's a foreword. Who writes the foreword? Please don't be Andrew Martin. Oh, E.L. Doctorow. E.L. Doctorow writes the foreword. But is that new? I seem to recall that not being new either. What is the date for Doctorow's foreword? Yeah, 1991. Okay, I knew that I'd read that before. E.L. Doctorow isn't writing anymore. So all right, so I've read this essay. I'll read it again. I've never read it in this edition, of course. And then you get the book. The whole of the book. Fantastic. Just incredible. Okay, American reprint culture. Okay. Well, that's great. I have been severely grappling with this thing, which is holding up just fine. I'd never encountered these old Century paperbacks. I never encounter them where they're this tough. especially a big book like this. This is holding up really, really well. The key is that it be floppy. If it's floppy, then you won't destroy it when you're using it. But I've been grappling with it. This is a book you very much grapple with. This is... I have been sticking largely to the end of 1919. Just the last quarter of 1919, just that alone. I've been rereading the whole thing. I'm slowly crawling my way to the end. But I've been concentrating on, at least on little bits and pieces, trying to figure out what Dos Passos is trying to do with any of this. I mean, it's incredibly captivating reading. It is epic. But I also want to understand it. I don't just want to be awed by it. And I've been grappling with it. It's been a lot of fun to do. It's been right there next to the chair. And now, just out of the blue, for sheer coincidence, there is a new edition. That is great. That is great. All right, well, the new edition means that I should really grasp the bull by the horns and turn that grappling into a piece of some kind, into writing about it for some kind. Okay. All right. Well, great, fantastic. There's only 2 books. But what a thing. What a thing. A brand new edition of USA. Fantastic. I've had so many editions of this thing. I have the Library of America 1 volume. I had the old Penguin green spine trade paperback forever and ever. I've had the mass market paperbacks. Once upon a time, I think it was Mentor made the mass market paperbacks. I had them individually. I had them in the box set. And now I have this and that. Plus the Library of America volume, I'm sure I still have. So we have the USA Trilogy by John Dos Passos, and we have Making a Democracy Count, about how math is at the heart of so much of democracy. That fascinating claim that democracy is mathematical to its bones. That's great. The minute I read that, I wanted to say, oh, come on, but the more I think about it, the more I think that is self-evidently true. I've never seen it put that way before. So I've got USA, which I can't say that I'm going to put it off because I am in the act of reading it, just not in this edition. And then I've got this thing, which intrigues me, but I will put it off for a few weeks anyway. So there you go. That is the mail as a gigantic swack of rain closes in on Boston. I have a feeling this will be the last dry day for a while, unless it clears on Friday for just briefly. Right now, the latest forecast is that it's going to pour rain tomorrow, pour rain on Wednesday, pour rain on Thursday, break up on Friday. So Friday, we might actually even get sunlight, and it won't be raining. And then pour rain again on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and that some of those days might feature snow. I don't know how much of this is going to happen, but it could present problems for upload speed, that's for sure. If there's rain in the air every single day. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and then we'll look back and complain about it. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.